My wife left me with 2 daughters. 20 years later, she was shocked to discover what I had done. The hospital room was quiet except for the soft cooing of 2 newborns. Marcus Cray sat on a stiff plastic chair, cradling his twin daughters in each arm. Their skin was pale, eyes sky blue, and their wispy hair glowed golden beneath the overhead light. They looked nothing like him. Yet in that moment, they were his entire world. His wife, Hannah, hadn't said much since the delivery. She had turned her face toward the wall, unmoved, even when the nurses placed the girls in her arms. 3 days later, Marcus returned home from his shift at the auto shop to find the apartment door ajar. Hannah was gone. So was their savings account, the emergency money, even his old watch. All that remained were 2 Bossets, half a can of formula, and a neighbor shaking her head, saying she left with some man in a fancy white car. Marcus sat on the couch with both babies on his chest and wept until morning. He named them Lily and June. He didn't know why she left, but he refused to let her absence define the girls' lives. He would give them everything she took and more. But the world didn't make it easy. Everywhere he went, people stared. At daycare, at the clinic, in the park, he'd hear whispers. Are they adopted, or where's their mother? He got used to holding their birth certificates in his wallet, just in case someone decided to question if they were really his. Money was tight, tighter than he imagined possible. He sold his car and began commuting to work by bus, balancing car seats and diaper bags. He learned how to carry both girls while stirring a pot of oatmeal. He studied braiding tutorials late into the night, practicing on a raggedy old doll before trying it on Lily. Marcus picked up a second job cleaning office buildings at night, a third on weekends delivering pizzas in a dented borrowed sedan. Sometimes the girls came with him, bundled in their pajamas, eyes wide as he whispered lullabies between doorbell rings. Sleep became a stranger. He'd catch minutes on the bus in janitor closets during nap time at home, but he never complained. Instead, he taught the girls to say, "Thank you," before, "Please." He packed school lunches with funny notes that said things like, "Super Dad says, you got this." When June had the flu, he spent an entire week sleeping on the floor beside her bed, counting each breath. When Lily got stage fright at her first dance recital, he stood in the aisle, mimicking every move behind the curtain until she smiled and carried on. She didn't know he had rushed straight from work, grease still on his sleeves. There were ugly moments, too. A woman in line at the grocery store once accused him of kidnapping. Police were called. He sat on the curb with tears in his eyes, trying to calm Lily while June clung to his arm. The officers apologized, but the sting stayed. He lost jobs when he couldn't find childcare. He turned down promotions because they required travel. He wore the same boots for 4 years straight, soles duct taped so the girls could have winter coats that fit. Miss Patty from across the hall became family. She babysat when he worked doubles and made cornbread for the girls on Sundays. She once told him, "You're doing better than most 2-parent homes, Marcus." By the time the twins were 9, June wanted to be a scientist and asked 100 questions a day. Lily was obsessed with ballet and practiced pirouettes in the kitchen. He built June a model rocket out of soda bottles. He turned their tiny living room into a stage so Lily could perform for stuffed animals and Miss Patty. One afternoon in 4th grade, a boy teased June at school, saying her dad wasn't really hers. She stood up in front of the entire cafeteria and said, "My daddy tucks me in every night, works 3 jobs, and never misses a spelling test. Can your dad do that?" When she told Marcus later, he was quiet for a long time. Then he said, "That's my girl." One night, after a long double shift, Marcus collapsed on the couch. June climbed onto his chest, handed him a crayon drawing of their family, and said, "You're the best dad in the world," Lily added. "And the best mom, too." He didn't cry. He just pulled them both close and said, "That's my job." He never dated, never looked for Hannah, never tried to explain the pain she caused. Instead, he poured every ounce of himself into raising kind, brilliant, brave daughters. They didn't just grow, they blossomed. And some nights, long after they were asleep, Marcus would stand in the doorway of their shared bedroom, arms folded, watching their peaceful faces. No medals, no applause. But to him, this was everything. And deep inside, he promised, "I will never let them feel like they were left behind." That promise shaped every single day of their lives. It was a quiet Saturday morning when the knock came at the door. Marcus stood in the kitchen flipping pancakes in his old apron. June, now 20, was at the dining table typing an essay for her graduate program in astrophysics. Lily, graceful as ever, was warming up in the living room for her audition with the city's contemporary dance company. Their apartment was small but filled with light. Photos lined the walls, every single one showing a smiling black man flanked by two pale-skinned girls with bright eyes and wild dreams. The knock came again. Marcus wiped his hands and opened the door and froze. It was Hannah. 20 years had folded themselves onto her face. Her once lustrous hair was tied back in a frayed bun, her clothes worn and out of season. Her eyes, once sharp and cold, were tired, rimmed with regret. "Marcus," she said softly. He didn't respond. His hand gripped the edge of the door. "I didn't know where else to go," she continued. "I've been trying to find the courage to come back for years." He finally spoke. "Why now?" She looked down. "Because I'm tired of pretending I didn't destroy something beautiful." He stepped outside, pulling the door shut behind him. "You didn't just walk out on me, Hannah. You walked out on 2 babies. You took everything, money, trust, security, and left me with bottles and bills. And I raised them every day, every night." She nodded, tears welling. "I know, and I can never undo that." He studied her face, waiting for a flicker of defensiveness. But there was none. "They're grown now," he said. "Beautiful, strong. You want to see them?" She nodded quickly, hands trembling. "Just once." He opened the door. June looked up first, then Lily. Both froze. The silence was thick. Hannah stepped in cautiously, her voice barely audible. "I'm your mother." No one said anything for a full 10 seconds. "I know I don't deserve to be here. I made the worst mistake a mother could make. I left. I thought I was chasing something better, but it destroyed me. I lived in shelters, slept in bus stations, lost myself. Every day, I wondered what you look like, what I missed. I'm not here to fix anything. I just wanted to say I'm sorry." Lily crossed her arms quiet. June stood. Her voice was even. "You left us with nothing." "I know. And he gave us everything." "I know that too." Hannah's knees shook. She sat down, tears streaming freely now. "You don't have to. Forgive me. I just wanted you to know I never stopped loving you, even when I was too broken to show it." Lily stepped forward. "I used to pray you'd come back every birthday, every Christmas." "I know," Hannah whispered. "But the truth is," June added, "we grew up. We grew strong. And we became who we are because he never let us feel like we were missing something." More silence. Then June walked over and hugged her. Not tightly, but enough. Lily joined, placing a hand gently on her mother's back. "We forgive you," Lily said, "because we've already healed." "But we're not your little girls anymore," June finished. "And we don't want to start over." Hannah nodded, sobbing quietly. "That's fair." They handed her an envelope. Inside were photos. Birthday cakes, first bikes, Marcus holding their hands at kindergarten drop-off asleep on the couch with glitter on his cheeks after one of their spa nights. "This is what you missed," Lily said. Hannah held the envelope like a fragile treasure. She didn't ask for anything more. She left quietly. Marcus watched from the window. He didn't feel satisfaction, just peace. Later that night, the 3 of them sat on the balcony sipping cocoa. The moon was full, casting silver over the city skyline. "You okay?" June asked him. He nodded slowly. "Yeah, that was hard," Lily said. Marcus exhaled. "Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It means choosing peace over poison." He looked at his daughters, one a scientist who wanted to launch satellites into orbit, the other a dancer who moved like water across the floor. They were everything he had ever dreamed of and more. "You two made it easy to keep going," he said. "No," June whispered. "You made it possible to become who we are." He didn't say anything else, just smiled through misty eyes. And somewhere deep in his heart, the ache that had lived there for 2 decades finally softened into something else. Closure. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more emotional, dramatic, and unexpected tales. And let us know in the comments, where in the world are you watching from? We love hearing from all of you. Until next time, stay kind, stay curious, and keep watching.